set for stun. There we go.
Just a bit of fun there, huh? Barely breathing that helmet. Well, here we are. Another Halloween has come and gone. Oh well. Yes. Oh, that's better. Let's see now. Get comfortable. Well, hello, this is Lee back once again for another video. Today I wanted to talk about a few things. Welcome back, happy Halloween. Have a few things to say about that too, but for now I wanted to talk about something wrestling related. Yes, professional wrestling. Women's wrestling, to be precise. Well, by now, of course, it's old news, but I don't care about that. Just here to share my views. Asuka, also known as Kana before, a great women's professional wrestler. She made her main roster debut in WWE for the Raw brand. And so this motivated me to go out and repurchase the WWE Network streaming service, subscription-based. I'm not paid by them, just to see what was going to happen. And of course, I hoped, that they would not ruin her. So the show was actually 2 weekends ago, October 22nd, which was a Sunday evening, for TLC, which of course does not stand for Tender Loving Care, but rather Tables, Ladders, and Chairs. Oh my. But when I started watching, I was playing a little Xbox 360 video game, and I noticed the show had begun. So I switched over and started watching. And I kind of, plodded through the show, assuming that, I wasn't going to enjoy all of it. I kind of started skipping around after, the stream was fully loaded. And there were some enjoyable matches. I'll say more about those soon. AJ Styles against Finn Balor, one-on-one. And then, of course, the final show matches. But where I started watching was this. I started watching just in time to see, spoilers. Mickie James get defeated by Alexa Bliss, who actually hadn't watched wrestle before. My introduction to her was, when the little girls at the last Shimmer live show that I was at commented that Tessa Blanchard looked like her. But anyway, it turns out the entire part of the show that I wanted to see was at the very beginning. So if you're like me, if you're a fan of Kanako Yurai, Asuka from NXT in Japan, just watch the first 10 minutes or so. Well, it's actually the first match, so there's some introductory stuff, but the very first match is Asuka versus Emma. I hadn't really paid much attention to this Emma person before, but she has kind of a... Oh, she partnered with Dana Brooke. And went back when Dana Brooke was destroyed by Asuka in her debut match for NXT. And Emma's competent enough, but she has the Tom Cruise from Top Gun look with the little gloves and the aviator glasses. Well, anyway, I missed the entire match, so I had to go back and watch it again. And it was quite good. I'll say, if you bought the monthly, I forget how much it is, but however much it costs to get a month subscription of the WWE Network, it's worth it to see that match. It was a good match. It was a competitive match, too. This was not like Dana Brooke getting destroyed in like a minute or something. It was a full 10-minute match, so I was pleased. I was pleased to see Asuka back. She came out with this very flamboyant, she was wiggling all over the place with her arms, something I hadn't seen before, I guess to show that, her shoulder injury had healed. She retired from NXT undefeated due to an injury. And of course, I'm way behind on my NXT. There's all kinds of matches she had with Ember Moon, um, known as the wrestling goddess, in Shimmer. All this stuff had taken place already. But I knew I wanted to see her match with Emma. And, she did fine. She did great. There were a couple good moves here and there. She did a move where Emma was hanging onto the back side of the ring ropes, and kind of the apron, I guess they call it. And Asuka charged at her and turned around and slammed into her with her backside, knocking her to the floor. They always call this the hip attack. It's the butt bounce, whatever. But then she slapped herself on the bottom and pointed at the crowd. I wasn't quite sure what that was supposed to mean, because she got cheered. She's a face. I mean, was she was she trying to insult the fans? Who knows? But it was a competitive match, and she fought just like you'd expect. A lot of strikes, a lot of submissions. People give me crap when I play video games and I control characters based on her, and I use submission hold maneuvers and strikes. That's how she wrestles. She doesn't have a lot of moves, but she has a lot of character, a lot of pizzazz. She came across as this, unstoppable monster. But really, she's mortal. She takes damage. She gets hurt. She fights on. But, she has, the face makeup, which actually she didn't use a lot of in NXT, just a little line. And, of course, all the women in WWE television heavily made up, heavy eyeshadow and glittery, paint and everything. But Asuka, looked like a kind of a giant compared to Emma. Emma just smaller than she is, and Alexa Bliss certainly smaller. So, it'll be interesting to see, what she does in the main roster. I'm pleasantly surprised. The rest of the show was kind of hit and miss. I watched other parts of it. There was a women's. Oh, that's a later show. Well, anyway, the AJ Styles. I'm a big fan of AJ Styles. I'm not sure I like the kind of unshaven, unkempt hair look that he has, rather than the clean-cut look he had back in TNA. Well, at the end, he started going kind of a little scraggly as he started to turn to the dark side, became kind of this lone wolf wrestler. But AJ Styles looking more like a British knight with his long flowing hair and his beard. But the same old moves. The same AJ Styles we know and love against Prince Devitt, a.k.a. Finn Balor, with his demon makeup. The two of them fought, and there was a lot of chanting and things. People were asking for tables. Actually, on this show, I noticed until the very, very end, until the main event, they called it tables, ladders, and chairs, TLC, but those didn't come into play until the very final match. So, I guess WWE has done this. They've named so many of the pay-per-views after a certain gimmick match. Hell in a Cell, Elimination Chamber, whatever. It's like, but it's not like TNA where, what was it, Lockdown, where every single match was in a steel cage. No, instead, it's just the main event that has the gimmick. So there were no chairs, no tables, no ladders in the Asuka Emma match, or in the AJ Styles Finn Balor match. And that match between the two of them was quite good. I haven't seen a lot of Finn Balor matches, honestly. He kind of reminds me of Cody Rhodes, just kind of in the way his face looks and everything. Just appears to be a young man. But, the makeup is cool, very detailed. He looks like a monster face on top of him. Painted orange, and he'd look like a jack-o'-lantern, appropriate for the season. The announce team kept referring to this as Monday Night Raw, which was odd because this was a pay-per-view on Sunday. I mean, it was recorded on Sunday, it was streamed live on a Sunday, so I don't know why they kept calling it that. AJ Styles had blue, so I guess he was representing SmackDown, and Finn Balor had red, so I guess he was Raw. But supposedly it was supposed to be Bray Wyatt, dressed in drag, I guess his sister Abigail. I haven't really followed the storyline. I just listened to podcasts and catch bits and pieces of what's supposed to be going on, just to see if it's a show I want to watch. Um, but the way it was described, it seems like we got something much better than what could have happened. He was out sick, so AJ Styles pinch hitted for him, and it was great. And AJ Styles ended up losing, but it was a great match. It was a long competitive match. I think it went about 12 minutes or so, something like that. So it was quite enjoyable. And other than that, the main event, I skipped a match. It was some guy, the Drifter, playing a guitar and having vegetables thrown at him like old school, theater. When you hate the performer, you throw old fruit at them. And they had some match, and I skipped over it, and it's the guy that's supposed to be Kurt Angle's son. I'm not even sure if they're continuing with that angle anymore. Who cares? Pardon the pun. Huh. But the final match was a team of heels versus a team of faces. It was the Shield. They're back. And they were fighting, and they threw people into a garbage truck, and they went through tables and ladders, and it just went on and on and on. And Kane was there, and he turned against Braun Strowman, this big guy who kind of looks like Bray Wyatt or maybe Brody Lee, I don't know, Luke Harper, whatever. Just a big guy with kind of like grizzled beard and everything. Well, Kane turns against him, and there's all these chairs that are hanging from the ceiling like in a chain, and he kind of pulls the chain down, and they all fall and appear to fall on him off camera. And Braun Strowman gets thrown into the trash compactor part of the garbage truck, and they pull the thing in it. So is it supposed to have crushed him and killed him? Did they just murder him live on the air? Who knows? The announce team just said, oh, he's trapped. Oh, he's more than that. Oh, no. But everybody just kind of continued on, so I guess he just got thrown into the garbage. Who knows? So that match was all right. But they did have Kurt Angle. Finally, Kurt Angle wearing the Shield outfit because Roman Reigns wasn't there. So, anyway, I'm kind of out of the loop as far as WWE television is concerned, so I didn't care much about these. I weren't really invested in these matches. But, I've heard things here and there. Kurt Angle, quite a legend. He spent more time in TNA than he ever did in WWF or WWE. And I'm sure people called him a loser then. Now they're calling him a legend, a Hall of Famer, whatever. So, anyway, I would say this pay-per-view, it's okay, it's hit and miss. It's kind of like the show, really. I mean, Raw is 3 hours long. So I'm going to skip right over to the next day. And I didn't watch this live. I actually watched it later, which is what's nice about the WWE Network, not a paid plug or shill. I'll just watch what I want rather than every single second of it. I don't feel like I have to watch it all, really. Just certain matches, highlights, whatever. The rematch between Emma and Asuka, first thing for the next show, the Monday Night Raw for real, October 23rd, 2017. And this match, I think, was every bit as good as the previous one. And I didn't need a backstory. It was just, well, she's mad that she lost, because Asuka won, thankfully. And they had the rematch, and Asuka wins again. But again, a competitive match, about 10 minutes or so. So, good show. So whoever's booking these matches, keep up the good work. Don't use someone, some star like Asuka as a joke. Don't just throw her away. And if she's going to get beaten by these young upstarts or these whatever models or whatever, make them earn their spot. Don't make it easy. And if she does lose, don't just throw her away. Make her, continue to be good. So that's what I would say. So hopefully it all goes well, and, now I did want to say a few things about the Mickie James Alexa Bliss match, which I did eventually watch. I was commenting and chatting with some other, gamer wrestling fans, and one of them, who emailed herself, was saying, the whole storyline really was Alexa Bliss saying that Mickie James is an old lady. She's really not that old, she's just in her 30s, which is typical for when wrestlers hit their peak. And, not really much older than, Asuka either. But Alexa Bliss looks very young, so it's kind of like, she's the newbie who thinks too much of herself because she happens to be, the champ, which I don't know how she won the championship. Maybe she's supposed to be that good, or maybe it was a fluke. She's one of these heel champions, women's champion. But, Mickie James, really, like she was saying, Mickie James is gorgeous. You know, she looks better now than she did when she was younger. Really, she's a beautiful woman. And Mickie James comes from that era, you know, that Diva Search era, that eye candy era of WWE, or F rather, back during the Attitude Era, you know, the edgy storylines and sleazy, you know, characters, but also in TNA, which was kind of a takeoff of that, even though they were trying to do the Knockouts division. By the time Mickie James came into TNA, though, it was kind of drifting back more into let's copy WCW slash WWE, you know, kind of thing, sadly. But Mickie James comes from that old school, you know, where it's the cat fighting, it's the hair pulling, it's the slapping. She's not quite into the full, you know, like Joshi era, Shimmer era, you know, Sarah Amato era. But nevertheless, you know, she's a competent wrestler. She's not just a pretty face. And she really, you know, put this Alexa Bliss through her paces. And, you know, the two of them did well. There was one scene where, on Raw, where Alexa Bliss, you know, does the thing where she hides in the ropes. Like, don't hit me, don't hit me. Which, you know, cowardly heels often do. And when she did that, Mickie James kind of like slapped her on the backside, you know, kind of playfully. And, you know, Alexa Bliss's face, you know, she was just so insulted. It's like, how dare you? And so, you know, there's some good acting in this. There was a spot where I think Alexa Bliss was supposed to do like a post move, supposed to jump off the top rope and drop kick Mickie James. And even from the angle that, you know, the camera was recording, it looked like she missed. Looked like she barely touched her. And Mickie James took the fall anyway. You know, you see this sometimes. I kind of wish they would just play it off, you know, just, oh, I reversed it, I blocked it. But she took it down, and really it was a distraction that, you know, Alexa Bliss, you know, defeated her. I should correct something. This match I'm describing, this is still part of TLC. This was the match after the Asuka Emma match. Now, if we look to the next day, see, it's starting to bleed together already. Monday Night Raw, the following night, they had a moment where Alexa Bliss came out into the ring and talked about how, you know, oh, I beat this old lady and everything. And it was by a distraction, but she still took all the credit. And actually, in the previous night, what Mickie James tried to do, she tried to do a finishing move where she puts her hands up and she yells and she does like this big swooping DDT type move. Well, she got that reversed and she got beaten. Well, Mickie James comes to the ring on Raw and kicks Alexa Bliss in the gut, and she does the finishing move on her. And she does it in these high platform, high heels. I think Booker T says, you know, I've seen that before, but I've never seen it in 6-inch pumps or whatever. And it was quite funny. So I enjoyed that. Also on the Raw show, there was a multi-woman battle royal to determine the number one contender or something, talking to Kurt Angle. It was Sasha Banks and, well, a battle royal with 3, I guess a triple threat. Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Alicia Fox. And Alicia Fox is like, I'm crazy. She's like, oh, Kurt. It was just annoying. I've seen, you know, wrestlers portray crazy before, and she didn't do a very good job. But they're all, you know, kind of cute in their little outfits and everything, and their goofy makeup and whatever. So that's a match I haven't actually watched yet. I wasn't too interested, you know, but we'll see. I'll probably watch some more. So the WWE Network is what it is. I mostly like it because I can watch the old WrestleManias if I choose. When they put up WCW stuff, I can see that. I like the Table for 3 show that they have, you know, reminiscing about the old days, some behind-the-scenes stuff, people that weren't necessarily part of WWE's program, and so forth. So, you know, it is what it is. It's kind of nice. I hear TNA is no longer Global Force Wrestling, and they have their own streaming service. I might be curious to get that, you know, see some of the old Knockouts matches, assuming they're on there. I've seen most of the, you know, Best of the X Division, but, you know, there might be some things worthwhile. So, I like the companies are offering this sort of thing there. You know, Lucha Underground is on Netflix streaming service. So, it's a good day to be a wrestling fan. You know, if you want to access this stuff and you don't necessarily have the money to travel. So I would say, WWE, I'm not so much a fan of WWE. I'm more a fan of the wrestlers that they sometimes have. And I think it's unfair that these wrestlers get short shrift unless they're, the champion of WWE or they're on the main program. I mean, AJ Styles was always great, even before he came to WWE. In fact, he was allowed to do more. I think he was better outside of WWE. Same with Asuka. I mean, her matches are great on NXT, and they've been great so far on Raw and so forth. And I'm, behind on what's going on, this week. But nevertheless, I mean, watch her Japanese matches. Outstanding. Better than here. So, if this introduces more people to these wrestlers and their careers, great. If people are just discovering Jeff Hardy for the first time, and Matt Hardy, and Kurt Angle, and AJ Styles and Asuka, great. Check out some of their old work. You won't be disappointed. Just because the arena, the venue they're in is like lower budget, doesn't mean it's, a bad match. Doesn't mean it's a bad character. Everybody's been in bad storylines, but yeah, there's a lot of good stuff out there. So, those are my thoughts, just some brief thoughts. I have access to all the old NXT matches. I want to go back and watch all of Asuka's matches. I want to watch Ember Moon, Athena from Shimmer. I want to watch Crazy Mary Dobson, Sarah Logan. I want to watch, Billie Kay, Jessie McKay. I want to watch all of these. I enjoyed the Mae Young Classic. I'm glad that whether through Triple H or Sarah Mato, whomever, these women are finally getting noticed and appreciated. Mercedes Martinez, by WWE fans, and I hope it continues. But they were always great. They didn't just become great because they were finally recognized by Vince McMahon and put on the network. They were always great. Remember that. So, I'll be back again for another video, hopefully, and that's it for now. Thank you.